You already know this is based on a true story. A story of how I shit my pants in real life. Among Us. Yes.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier. Just kidding, my name's not Markiplier. My name is Moist Cheese, and today I want to do something a little different. So my friends know that I am a fan of Plants vs. Zombies 2. I've recently got back into it last year, and you might know because, well, I did a speed run, quote unquote, on it that took me like 11 hours. But I want to do something different today, and I wanted to talk about the Reflourished mod. The Reflourished mod is a great mod. It's good because it doesn't try to change the game fundamentally. It just adds stuff to the game, like if PopCap continue to edit or add adventure stuff. But today I want to get more in depth to it. I want to rank all the world expansions based on how hard they are and what world I think are the hardest. In addition to that, I'm going to do a plant tier list at the end of the video, so that's going to take up a good chunk of my time. But yeah, I hope you enjoy.
I shitted in my pants. I am for real. Never meant to.
Now, the original Plants vs. Zombies 2, I'll say it's original, but it's the classic, the vanilla version of Plants vs. Zombies 2. There's a lot of people think these different worlds belong in different places on like a difficulty tier list. So I'm going to give you mine. Before we get into the expansions, I want to give you like what is it with what is the default difficulty for the level. So yeah, let's get started. So the easiest world in the vanilla game, in my opinion, not more of a factual statement than an opinion, because everyone unanimously agrees that ancient Egypt is the tutorial world. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to show you the fundamentals of the game. You show the plant food, the power-ups, how to use certain plants, and the plants you get from this world are really good. Most of them are. Cabbage Pole and Bloom Ring are kind of meh, but Gravebuster is going to be useful outside of the world. Not in many worlds, but it's certainly going to be useful. Iceberg Lettuce is always going to be useful. The only time where it's not going to be is probably like in those levels that say, hey, you can't lose more than X amount of plants. Twin Sunflower is going to be helpful. It's an upgrade of the regular Sunflower. After the Sunflower, or after the Twin Sunflower, you also get Repeater, which is also quite helpful. This is literally a better Repeater. The Bonk Choy is kind of a fun plant. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. But yeah, the zombies in the world, they're rather easy to deal with. You got the Grave Guy, or the Tomb Raiser, I should say. You got the Sun Stealer, and you also got the Camel guys. And there's really not that many. Of course, the Sarcophagus guy, but well, he's just a beefy zombie. And all the points I made is really just what makes ancient Egypt like the easiest world. It's like I said, it's the tutorial world. It's not going to be hard. Not the main game version of it though. So, well, we'll see what's next. To the surprise of absolutely no one, the second easiest world is Pirate Seas. It's like, it's not a tutorial anymore. There's a gimmick in it where it's just like, oh yeah, the zombies can only come in this lane, but that gimmick really just helps the player out, because you could focus your defenses on one lane and then everything else could be secondary, because, well, the only zombies that can traverse those are the cannons, the swashbucklers, and the seagull guys. In addition to that, the plants you get from Pirate Seas are some of the best in the game. Kernel Pole especially is helpful. I know that's not that's a little surprising to hear about. But Snapdragon, Spikeweed, Spike Rock, Coconut Cannon, Three-Peter, Cherry Bomb, all of those are available in Pirate Seas, and that's why I really like the Pirate Seas, because it's an easy world and you get a good amount of stuff from the easy world. And overall, like, the only frustrating things are definitely the captain guys. The captain zombies, they suck ass. They'll just give you they'll take a bird and whoop, there goes your walnut that you spent 50 sun on, and now you have to wait 30 seconds to have again. It's just, a lot of the special zombies in Pirate Seas aren't that menacing. The imp cannons, though, they can be, especially if you don't deal with them immediately, because then they'll just like rain imps everywhere, and it's just like, what the fuck? Why must you do this to me? It's just what it is. But overall, Pirate Seas is definitely the second easiest world in the game, and so far it seems like we're going in the world order. Now this may come as a shock, but actually I don't think Wild West is the third easiest world. It's easy, sure, but it's not the third easiest world. To me, the third easiest world is Far Future, actually. Now, Far Future is definitely one of my favorite worlds, but remember, this is me ranking based on the difficulty of said world. But the reason why Far Future is so easy is because the main gimmick, the power tiles, if you know how to use them, they can, one, be super fun, and two, they can wipe the whole board. And there's a good amount of special zombies here in the Far Future. Of course, there's all the different machines. And yeah, the Gargantuar Prime is definitely problem, but the stuff you get in the world, like the Citron, the Laser Bean, the what's it called, Peach, Blover especially, they all really help in this world, because a lot of the zombies are clumped up and you can use a laser beam to, attack them all, or a Blover to blow all the flying zombies away. And at first it definitely seems like it would be overwhelming. You'll definitely be overwhelming, but in reality it's not super difficult. But I love the plants in the world, the zombies in the world, the theme of the world. It's just overall a really solid world that I enjoy playing every time I replay the game or I'm trying out a new mod. I'm always looking forward for Far Future. Now, we'll move on. Now, the next easiest world is, well, I just mentioned it. It was Wild West. I would first like to mention that I love the music in Wild West. I think it works so good for what it's supposed to be. But what makes Wild West so simple or easier than most worlds is, well, the plants you get are good. The plants you get are great. You get the pea pod, the split pea, chili bean, lightning reed, the melons, along with the tall nut. Now, it doesn't seem like it's a lot. It doesn't seem like it's a lot of, what's it called? Shit, I just forgot. It doesn't seem like they're great plants, but for sure they are. The zombies in the world are also, they're still simple, but they are getting a little bit trickier. Like, of course, you got the prospector, which is why you need split pea. You got the chicken guy, which is definitely more frustrating to deal with. The bulls, that's why you get tall nut, because of they'll just launch the imp over, and sometimes if it gets too far, it'll just launch the imp straight into your house. which is why it's starting to get a little bit difficult. But I guess the main reason why it's not as hard as other worlds is because other worlds are just harder. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but in comparison, Wild West is easier than, say, something like Big Wave Beach or Dark Ages or something, because it's easier. It's not to say that doesn't have its challenging moments. It certainly does, but for the most part, it is definitely gonna stay number 4. Next up is one of my other favorite worlds. It's a Lost City. I love the theme of Lost City, but this is definitely where things start to get a little bit more difficult. And I say this because it forces you to change up your strategy. A lot of the worlds prior to this, you can get away with using a similar strategy, if not the same strategy you've always been using, but this one is a little different because you need to have a straight shooter and you need to have a lobber pretty much all the time. There's the 2 zombies that really force this is definitely the shovel zombie and the parasol zombie. They show up in the same levels all the time, all the fucking time, because this excavator zombie, the shovel guy, he blocks the straight shots, and the other guy, the parasol zombie, she blocks lob shots. So you need lobs to take out the shovel, but you need a straight shot to take out the parachute. So it really challenges you to switch up your strategy. The plants you get in this world they're serviceable. They're not the best, but they're definitely good. You got the red stinger, which is a cheaper repeater. You get the AKEE, which is a lobber. You got the Endurian, which is a defensive walnut, and so on and so forth. Stalia is probably the best plant you get in this world, even including the Reflourished stuff, which we'll get in later in the video. But this is definitely where things are getting a little bit harder, and we'll see what's next. Alright, next up we got Frostbite Caves. I liked Frostbite Caves. I think it's a fun world, a fun little idea. I'm always a fan of prehistory, so this was right up my alley, the theme. Anyway, the reason why it's higher than Lost City is because the ice gimmick can get really frustrating and really tedious to deal with. It's not difficult per se, but it can make things difficult because suddenly you'll be chilling and then suddenly like half your defense is frozen over and you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And you have to bring fire plants. I don't mind bringing fire plant, but I know a lot of people do, just to warm up the plants. So speaking of the plants, the next plants I like from this world are I like the Charred Guard. The Charred Guard's a great plant to have. The Stunnion is a great plant to have because those are both useful outside of the world. Pepper Pulp, maybe not so much, plus it's slow cooldown and high price, so it's a little iffy on that one. Hot Potato's not really used outside of the world. And Rutabaga is helpful in Big Wave Beach and in this clip that you're seeing right now. The zombie selection in this world, the special zombies, is a tankier chicken guy, but instead of chickens, it's weasels, and instead of the weasels can take more hits than the chickens. You also got the hunter, which will literally freeze your stuff. You got the who else is special in this world? The ice blockhead, which is a very tanky zombie. And there's a few other zombies that I can't remember off the top of my head. There's a Troglobite I can remember, which brings in more zombies. So it's just overall, Frostbite Caves is challenging because of the world gimmick. Maybe not so much the zombies, but the world gimmick can really screw you over sometimes.
Wait, so he did do something for Saul.
Next up, we have another one of my favorite worlds. It is the Dark Ages. In the first game, I really loved all of the nighttime levels. It's just, I don't know why. I think I have a soft spot for all the plants you got in the nighttime level, which is why I love Doom Shroom, because it's just so sick. But anyway, I like Dark Ages because it's nostalgic for me. That it reminds me of whenever I used to play Plants vs. Zombies and I was playing the night levels. But the reason why it's up here is because the zombie selection is hella annoying. The wizards, the jesters, the kings, they can just rip through your defense if you're not careful. Especially the wizards, you'll be looking one day and then boom, your defense is a bunch of sheep now. I like the plants in this world. I love the plants in this world. I love Sun Shroom. Puff Shroom is cool. Fume Shroom is cool. Magnet Shroom is cool, albeit niche. And you get Hypno Shroom in Reflourished, and Hypno Shroom is cool. It's hard because one, sun doesn't spawn from the sky, and there's at least 1 or 2 levels where you're not allowed to use sun producers, but you have to produce a certain amount of sun. So you have to use Gravebuster, the Sunbeam. It's just overall, Dark Ages can get challenging because this is, at least in the vanilla game, this is where a lot of people say they experience some a difficulty spike, and I can see it here. Like I said, zombie selection, great challenge. You also got the plant selection I just talked about, and overall, it's just a really enjoyable world to play, and it's not without its difficulty. Let's move on. It may come to a surprise to some, but I genuinely don't think Big Wave Beach is the hardest world in the game. It's definitely difficult, for sure, but it is not the hardest world in the game. I'll get into that later, but it's hard because you got so many zombies that can disable your defense from far away. The fishermen, the octo zombie. Also, you got the, what's it called? You got the ambush, the low tide. Zombies will spawn way up your lawn, and that's definitely difficult for sure. I'm not denying that. But the reason why it's so low is because there are a few more level or worlds in Reflourished that are harder, mainly because, well, you don't have leveling and stuff. They're harder because of that. So let me get into the Big Wave Beach. So Big Wave Beach has the plants, which is the lily pad and the tangle kelp. Both of those can only be used in Big Wave Beach. And after that, you get you get bowling bulb, which is a fun plant, but it's definitely not great. The bowling bulb is not a great plant. Guacodile after that, which is fine. You got banana launcher, which is the best plant you get in Big Wave Beach in vanilla, but there's one more plant that you get in Reflourished that's better than that in Big Wave Beach, which is the homing thistle. The octo zombie disables your stuff from far away. The fisherman can destroy your defense from far away but if you have a force field like Infinite, then you can definitely get that. Other than that, though, it's hard. I'm not denying it. It's not as hard as some people think it is. But yeah, that's my take on Big Wave Beach. I do like Big Wave Beach. It is another one of my favorite worlds because I like the pool levels in the first game. So let's see what's next. We have now entered the top 5 of the hardest worlds in the game. So the next world is Modern Day, actually. And I know what you're thinking, like, Modern Day, isn't that supposed to be one of the hardest worlds in the game? Like, yeah, it absolutely is. There's just pure chaos is what I could use to describe Modern Day. Zombies from every which timeline. Just, it is crazy how hard Modern Day can get. But the reason why it's not higher is because the next few worlds, which I'm sure you can decide now, are harder in their own ways. But the Modern Day is hard because the plant get in modern day aren't the best. And Reflourished definitely nerfed some of these plants. I like modern day though. I like the music in modern day. I like that the music in modern day is supposed to play on the player's nostalgia, which is cool. But it's hard because you could encounter anything. The sheer unpredictability of modern day is what makes it hard. You can encounter anything from any world, and overall, that is why modern day is hard. And taking the number 4 spot is actually a Reflourished world, and that is Steam Ages. Steam Ages is hard because it's these, you see those, that where that Buckethead just came out, those damn sewers will wreck you. Like they can open whenever they want, and zombies can come out of it, any kind of zombie, up to a Buckethead, and you have to deal with it, because if you don't deal with it, then they'll eat everything to the right of the lawn. Another thing that makes this world difficult is the sheer amount of Buckethead spam. There are lots of Bucketheads, and I mean lots. There's some waves that are just Bucketheads. Other things that are difficult are those coal guys that will roll you down, destroy everything, and whenever they do destroy you, or whenever you do destroy them, then fucking coal things come out and eat your plants that they land on. It's just difficult. And as of recording now, there's only 16 levels, but those 16 levels can be quite difficult. Alright, and sniping the number 3 spot is, surprisingly enough, Neon Mixtape Tour. That world is hard. I don't care what anyone thinks, it is absolutely hard. All the zombies in it are so obnoxious. All the zombies in it will destroy your plants. And it's made worse by the fact that the plant selection you do get is not even that good in the world you get it in. Prime examples, the fat beet, the garlic, they're both okay plants in their own rights, but in Neon Mixtape Tour, they are absolutely not. This is because they're often supposed to be used together, but every zombie in that world has a way to destroy your field without eating. Like, the punk will kick it out of the way, the glitter zombie will crush them, the gargantuar will crush them, the rapper will spin his thing, his microphone, and kill like every plant in a 3x3. The arcade zombie not only summons zombies, he pushes an arcade that will crush any plant, including spikeweed and spike rock and stuff. Neon Mixtape Tour is just difficult. That's not to say that I don't like it. I love that world. The theme of the world, the music of the world, it's all good. And that is why it is number 3. And taking the number 2 spot is another Reflourished world, and this is Holiday Mashup. Now, I want to get out of the way. I loved this world. Everything about this world I loved. All the plants you get in it, the zombies you get in it, just the theme. I loved everything about Holiday Mashup. But the reason why it's the second hardest in the game is because it is similar to modern day, but it's different enough that it can be its like own thing. And that's precisely what it is. Because every special zombie in Holiday Mashup, of which there are a lot of, are reskin zombies of everything else in the game. Like, there's this elf guy who swings in, and that is obviously a swashbuckler. There's the St. Patrick's glitter zombie, which is a glitter zombie. It's just that you can experience every single zombie in a different way. It's just in a different, what's it called? A different light. Let's start with the plants. The plants are all premium plants that you would get in the vanilla game, but that are either gemiums or premiums. And I like that in Holiday Mashup, and the fact that it is compatible with, if you wanted to move your Reflourished save to a vanilla, you can. So you can play through Holiday Mashup and unlock all those plants. And another thing is, what was I going to say? There are lots and lots and lots and lots of mini bosses in Holiday Mashup. Infinity, there's the Multiplicity, there's the arcade guy, I don't remember exactly their name, but they all have their own abilities and they all are hard to deal with in their own ways. You have special ways to do it. And overall, Holiday Mashup is a lot of fun. That's not even mentioning how difficult the final boss of Holiday Mashup is. It is long. It's like 7 or 8 stages. It is insane. Also, the magic potions that you see on the ground that buff zombies in all sorts of ways. It's the perfect step in Plants vs. Zombies 2. If PopCap were to continue doing adventure mode, this is what I would imagine it be. I loved Holiday Mashup, and the devs should be so proud of Holiday Mashup, and I love it. But it's hard because you experience everything in the game again in a different light. Some have different abilities, some get boosted with the potions. It's just overall difficult. And I can't be happier to say that this is definitely one of my top 3 worlds, for sure. And that only leaves one more world. The hardest world in Plants vs. Zombies 2, in my opinion, is Jurassic Marsh. And there's a couple of reasons why. But primarily it has to do with how easy it is to get overrun by zombies. The dinosaurs in that world will push zombies way past the middle of the lawn and fuck you up. It is so hard. It is so difficult. But overall, I love the music in Jurassic Marsh. I love the plants in Jurassic Marsh. The new zombies in Reflourished in Jurassic Marsh are great. It is a perfect challenge. You have to really think about where you're going to place your defenses so that your zombie or your guys won't die. You know? In the perfect way, so like whenever a raptor decides to like, hey, fuck you up, you have to work around it, and you have to always be on your feet because you can get so easily overrun. The music in Jurassic Marsh is great. The plants in Jurassic Marsh are great. Primal Pea Shooter, Primal Sunflower, Primal Walnut especially. Primal Potato Mine and the Reflourished plants you get are great. It's just overall super nice. Super fun, super hard, and in vanilla it should definitely be worthy of that 5 jalapeno rating. Anyway, that is all the list for the actual default stuff. And now we'll get into the expansions. This will be a shorter segment, hopefully, and we'll be right back.
Never meant to make my booty shit. I apologize, I shit my pants. I shit it.
Plants vs. Zombies Reflourished has expansion levels for every single world. In addition to the new worlds, most of this will be about 10 levels, but the last 2 worlds, those being Jurassic Marsh and Modern Day, they have They have 16 levels as an expansion. And these are challenging in their own ways. It's important to know everything in this next list will be based on, or everything in this next list is definitely all challenging. I'm just going to be ranking on which is more of a challenge. So yeah, let's get right into it. The easiest expansion, and keep in mind I am using easiest very loosely, is the Lost City expansion. Sure, it has its challenging moments, like this one right here this level right here is the most challenging moment in the Lost City levels, in my opinion. And what makes it different than the other expansion levels is most of those are on daytime, with the exception of Dark Ages, because, well, it's the Dark Ages. But Lost City is actually at night, which I personally like, because you have to use the sun tiles a lot more. Overall, though, the Lost City expansion is quite simple. It is straightforward. The special zombies introduced aren't the toughest. Like, the toughest one is the magenta skull, which will buff every zombie on the screen. And this is the hardest level. So that's all I really have to say about Lost City. The plants you get from it are okay. Lava Guava is great, but the daisy chain I really don't know how to use, so I can't say that it's great. The next expansion, or the next easiest expansion, is the Far Future. I loved the Far Future expansion because I got to play around with a million different power tiles. I loved every minute I played the Far Future expansion, and the boss fight, or the middle boss fight, is actually rather difficult, which you will see in a moment. But what makes the Far Future not as hard as the other ones is obviously the power tiles, because a lot of levels give you a lot of power tiles, and this one is no exception. So you can get a lot of sun so quickly that you could really just make an ultimate defense. Now that's not to say that this expansion can't get crazy. Like, just take a look at this, and this is the boss fight. Millions of things everywhere, bunch of power tiles. This one was so fun to do. It was so crazy to do. It was just a lot. It was just overall really enjoyable. The next expansion is the Frostbite Caves expansion. I like the Frostbite Caves. I always did. The expansion is no different. It is crazy in a way where it's hard, but it's not impossible, and you feel good about when you finish it. The final boss of this can get frustrating though, because the new boss can freeze up to the very last row, which is annoying to deal with. Despite this, I really liked this, and I'm glad that I played it. It's not too terribly difficult, but it certainly has its challenges. The next expansion we will talk about is the Ancient Egypt expansion. I think what makes this one so difficult is the idea that you're not used to this kind of difficulty as soon as you start it. You're used to what's it called? Ancient Egypt being the easy world, and it's fair to assume that. But with this one, with the Egypt expansion, it can ramp up in difficulty quick. And the plants you get in it, which are the snow pea and the squash, are really helpful. Overall, what makes it hard is the surprise that it is hard. The next expansion we'll talk about is when things start to ramp up in difficulty, and this is the Neon Mixtape Tour expansion. What makes it hard is all the zombies tend to clump together, and if you don't have a good enough defense, then they will just tear right through it, and it just sucks. It's hard, but the reason why it's not higher is because there are more difficult ones. when compared to the Neon Mixtape Tour one. But overall, it's hard, and just like the regular Neon Mixtape Tour. Coming in on number 6 is the Wild West expansion. Now, I didn't do a good job with this video, but there are very difficult levels here, where you have to really think about, like, there's this one where you have to protect these split peas and you have, like, no plants. It is just, overall, it can get really hard at times, really tough at times. The boss fight is pretty easy, but the plants that you get in this are one good plant and then one pretty bad plant. Ultimato being the good one, and the tumbleweed being the other one. But that's what makes Wild West the number 6 spot, because all the special zombies in this world, the bull, the piano, they spawn a lot, and not to mention the new Stampede gimmick, where a bunch of bulls come in and they'll just run along until they throw your imp over your whole lawn and then you die. Coming in at the number 5 place is the Big Wave Beach expansion. This is hard for all the same reasons that the original Big Wave Beach is hard, because the ambushes, all the annoying zombies, the clumps of annoying zombies, and the plants are subpar. Apart from Homing Thistle. Homing Thistle is great. I love Homing Thistle. He saves me a lot. And it's just, the problem with Big Wave Beach is it's so chaotic and you have to really think on your feet, which I appreciate. But you just have to really be prepared to get kind of frustrated. To the surprise of many, the 4th hardest expansion in my opinion is the Pirate Seas expansion. I feel like it's because so the actual normal Pirate Seas is easy because you don't really need to focus on many lanes, primarily like the bridge lanes. But with this one, you absolutely do need to focus on these lanes because you can see how easily clogged they get. It's hard up here. It's the hard expansion because of this specific level, which is the middle boss level, and it is crazy. It is crazy. So many zombies spawn so many places. It's just, whew, you can get overrun so quickly. In all the bucket head spam, the barrel head spam, it's just, it's tough. It's tough for sure. And you don't even, the plants you get in this expansion aren't even that great. Iceweed and apple mortar, they're not that good in my opinion. Despite being the hardest like regular world in my opinion, the Jurassic Marsh expansion, sure, it's definitely difficult, but it's not the most difficult in my opinion. I especially like it though because the new gimmick, which is the tar tiles, where defensive plants really like it, but offensive plants don't like it. And the sheer amount of zombies or new zombies that are made, because in all honesty, like vanilla Jurassic Marsh was lacking in special zombies, and there's certainly special zombies in the Reflourished Jurassic Marsh. What makes this number 3 is the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs will fuck you up. They will push everything towards you, and it just overall, it's really hard. But to make up for it, you do get 3 new plants instead of the typical 2 new plants that you get per expansion. This is the first expansion with 16 levels, and I have to say, I really enjoy it. I just love Jurassic Marsh. Maybe that's just because I'm a dinosaur kid. Who knows? I bet you didn't expect this one to be so high. The Dark Ages expansion is deceivingly difficult. Sure, it only adds 10 more levels, but those 10 more levels have a lot to do with it, especially this one right here where you see it's all castle heads, all knights. There's so many tanky zombies that you have to deal with. That's not even mentioning the new zombie, the dark wizard or whatever he's called, where he will literally summon 4 dragon imps, which you cannot kill with an explosion because they are immune to explosions. It sends a lot of the annoying zombies, the jester, for instance, and overall, it's just, you don't have many plants that could deal with it. Sure, you have magnet shroom, but magnet shroom can't do that much. So it's just overall, Dark Ages, the level gimmicks itself, like the level gimmicks, can be difficult. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but some of the level gimmicks are hard. And it is quite the challenge. As someone once put it, instead of the Dark Ages, it's called the Dark Rages. I bet you could figure out who that was. True to the game's original intent, the hardest expansion world is certainly modern day. It is so chaotic and it is crazy. It's crazy fun. It's crazy hard. It's crazy nostalgia. It's perfect. I love the modern day expansion. Just this one right here is an homage to the original boss fight of Plants vs. Zombies. And this one can get absolutely crazy. It took me like 5-6 attempts to even beat this thing without using like power-ups, and even then I died because I didn't see that imp right there. But it is so hard. The gimmicks are hard. Be Ghoul is fun at least, and for anyone doing Reflourished, it is gonna absolutely be hard for you.
I shit it in my pants. I am for real.
Today we are doing the Plants vs. Zombies 2 Reflourished Plants tier list maker. So we are in different categories here. We got Certified Epic, which is the best plants in my objectively correct opinion. Real Ones is below it, but it's good. Reliable, pretty cool is, yeah, it works for what it does. Quite Adequate is, sure it's all right. Kind of cringe is like, it's not really that good. And Sucks Cock means that it's gay and bad. Let's talk about Sunflower. Sunflower produces sun, as you expected. You are stuck with this thing until you unlock Twin Sunflower. It's good for what it does, 50 sun, fast recharge. It is your fundamental, and because of that, it is a real one. That's pretty cool because there's better ones. Pea Shooter is not great. It works for early game defense. It shoots peas at the enemy as you expect it to, and that's it. You are kind of cringe. Walnut, you are a defensive plant. You stall zombies, which is cool, and you are rock hard. You deserve to be quite adequate. Potato Mine, woo! Potato Mine saves my ass. Potato Mine, my beloved. Certified Epic. Cabbage Pult, I'm sorry, man. You're not great because you attack slow. You don't do much damage. What you're meant to counter, Graves, is immediately removed by the time you unlock the next plant. So, I'm sorry, Cabbage Pult. Hope you enjoy sucking cock. And maybe he does. I don't know. Bloomerang is a better Cabbage Pult, sort of. It can go through Graves, 3 to be exact, but anything past 3 it won't hit. So you got 3 Graves and then you got like a zombie after. It's not gonna hit that zombie, it's just gonna hit the Graves. So in that way, it's a little bit short, but I can't really justify putting it in Sucks Cock because it just negates the whole gimmick of Cabbage Pult. So Iceberg Lettuce, you're a real one, Iceberg. You're a real one. Staller, free zombies. Oh, you are a must-have in most if not every single level. Gravebuster basically negates the whole gimmick of kinda cringe and sucks cock, the cabbage pult, and the bloomerang. It's helpful in like 3 worlds, well, mostly 2 worlds. Those being Egypt, Dark Ages, and Big Wave Beach to get rid of surfboards. For that, I shall put you in quite adequate. Bonk Choi, look at him. He's about to beat the shit out of you, and he intends to do just that. The only problem with Bonk Choi is he's close range, and if you don't have like a walnut or something in front of it, he's just gonna die. Like punch, 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 punch. Oh no, I'm dead, and then he dies. I kind of want to, but at the same time, there are just so many better options. You're quite adequate, my friend. Repeater is a better pea shooter. Pea Shooter 2, the sequel, Electric Boogaloo, but actually he's not the Electric Boogaloo because there's another electric one. But anyway, you're higher than regular Pea Shooter, but I won't use you that much. So for that, you might have to go a little above Pea Shooter and kind of cringe. Twin Sunflower is the sunflower mixed with another sunflower. Sunflower 2, Electric Boogaloo. So I could justify putting her above regular sunflower. It's not really a real one because there are some realer sun producers. Snow Pea, I have to say, you are pretty cool. Need I explain myself?
Squash
is a real one. I'll place priorities on instas because in this game, instas are your lifeblood. For that, Squash, you are a real one. Colonel Pult, another Pult, but it's better than Cabbage Pult because the Colonel Pult has a chance to stop you in your tracks because the zombies are so embarrassed that they'll just freeze. You are quite adequate, my friend. Snapdragon is not as good as it is in the actual game. It's cheaper, but also it attacks so much slower. Still though, he's helpful good amount of the early game. I'm gonna put him in quite adequate. Spikeweed and Spike Rock, they're both the same case. One just pops 1, the other pops 3. Spikeweed, Spike Rock are definitely helpful in worlds like Neon Mixtape Tour, where those rockin' jammin' zombies will just push any fucking plant out of the way or destroy it immediately, and it sucks. Quite adequate for that. Spring Breen, you can have some gay sex with Cabbage. Coconut Cannon. I wish I could say Coconut Cannon was super good, and to an extent it can be, but 400 sun, it doesn't insta-kill most zombies. Maybe if it one-shot at least bucket heads, then I would justify putting it any higher than quite adequate, yeah. Cherry Bomb, you are certified epic. 3-peater, I like 3-peater. Spam a bunch of 3-peaters down. You can get a lot of damage done quickly. You're pretty cool. Apple Mortar, I have to admit, is not great. You're expensive. You don't do much damage. You're slow. I'm sorry, Apple Mortar, but kind of cringe. Iceweed is Spikeweed Cold. It costs 150 more than fucking Spikeweed, and it only pops 1 thing. Sure, it chills zombies, but you're better off just having like a Spikeweed and a Snow Pea. I have to put you in kind of cringe. Split Pea is helpful in lots of things. Wild West, Jurassic Marsh, Steam Mages, Holiday Mash. It's pretty helpful because a lot of times zombies just get behind your defenses and it's not that expensive. It's basically a repeater from behind for 75 less sun and quite adequate. Chili Bean is a funny fart guy. Zombies eat it and then they have some gastrointestinal issues. You're going quite adequate. Lightning Reed, I don't get why people think Lightning Reed is so good. Spam it down, it's not that good. It does fuck all for damage. It's not quite sucks cock, but it's definitely low cringe. Peapod is nice. I like Peapod. You can basically make a 5-peater, although it does cost a lot of sun. But if a level goes on fast or goes slowly, then I can see it being a valid strategy. For that, I'm gonna put you in pretty cool. Walnut, you're just a beefier walnut. You block low-flying zombies, which is helpful against the buffalo riders or bull riders. You are twice the son of a regular walnut. You tank a lot more. And for that, quite adequate. Melon Pult. I like Melon Pult, especially placing him on power tiles. He does a lot of damage. He's overall pretty reliable, though with Reflourished, they attack a lot slower. Because of that, I can't really put him higher than pretty cool. As for Wintermelon, as good as he is in the first game, or the actual game, he's kinda ass in Reflourished. He attacks slowly, shares the same thing with Melon Pult. It recharges slow, Not to mention the 150 sun cost increase for this guy. You don't deserve this, but you're kind of cringe in this one. Tumbleweed. I've never used Tumbleweed willingly. I think it sucks. I don't think it does much. Sure, maybe if it's like a big crowd of zombies, if you push it, just push them back. But half the time it doesn't always push them back. And it just freezes them for like not even a second. And they just keep moving. They're not slowed or anything. It's just like, why? Sucks cock. Ultimato though. Ultimato is pretty epic. Sure, it gets more expensive the more you plant it, but if you get a maxed Ultimato, it'll take like 5 bucket heads out in one lane. It's pretty cool. Not to mention, it literally acts as a doom shroom once you plant food it. It's pretty cool. Laser Bean. I like Laser Bean in the actual game of Plants vs. Zombies 2. I like him here. The only issue is he's 75 more sun. Pretty cool. Clover. Clover, I have to tell you, you are a real one. Citron, I barely ever use you. Do a lot of damage, but like half the time, it doesn't even hit the zombie you want. Say you're fighting chickens. It does a little Citron and you're expecting to hit this bucket head and it'll die. But then a chicken, super chicken, just runs ahead of the fucking bucket head and it tanks the whole shot of the Citron. Do a lot of damage, sure, but you're kinda cringe. EM Peach disables all the machines in the area. Quite adequate. Infinite. Infinite is an infinite walnut. Like, he'll regain health over time. Once you plant food him, then it's just a whole barrier over the entire fawn. Certified epic. Magnifying grass, I don't actually care that much for magnifying grass. Quite adequate. Tile turnip, I will have to say, you are so much fun to work with. Quite a bit of fun to be had with tile turnip. So for that, he's pretty cool. Zoid bean pod is also pretty funny. The plant food sure it gives you a gargantua on your side, which is pretty cool. It takes a long time to make a zombie. That zombie will probably get eaten by other zombies. It's going to be quite adequate. Starfruit, I will say, is a real one. Does quite a bit of damage. You get a bunch of them down, and it just wipes the whole lane. Sunshroom, I have to say. Ooh, Sunshroom, you are certified epic! Puffshroom, it's free, it does damage. That's your pretty cool Puffshroom. Fume Shroom, I would also say, is sitting in the same boat because it's a cheaper laser bean. Sure, it doesn't cover the whole lane. He recharges fast. He's easy to get down. You are a reliable fella, and you are pretty cool. Sunbeam's quite adequate. Because if Sunstream is boosted, you can get a bucket head or a knight or any of those similar guys to eat it. It'll instantly kill it and drop like 500 sun. Well, not 500, but like a lot of sun. I say Sunbeam, you are quite adequate. Magnet Shroom, I think it's pretty neat, I should say. The only problem with this guy is I feel like he's just too niche. There's not enough zombies in the game with metal stuff that he can attract. But he's helpful in Neon Mixtape Tour, where he just pulls the head off of a punk zombie. I had to put him in quite adequate. Hypno Shroom, I like Hypno Shroom. Good, his plant food effect makes a gargantuar fight on your side. And he's just overall pretty epic. He's a cool fella, so let's put him there. Witch Hazel, I used maybe once, and I have to say, I'm sorry, Witch Hazel, you're kinda cringe. Maybe it's just every time I place you down, you're trying to turn a zombie into a puff shroom. Either one or two things happen. It successfully plants a puff shroom, but that puff shroom gets instantly killed by the zombies behind it. Now, the other thing that can happen is it zaps the zombie, it disappears, but it doesn't plant a puff shroom because the zombie was on a tile with the plant. He's going down there. Lily pad is only useful in one world. Kind of cringe, I'm sorry. Tangle kelp, I like tangle kelp. In Reflourished especially, sure has a 25 stun increase, but it recharges so much faster. Is like one of the only solutions to the most annoying zombies. Fisherman, the surfer, the octo zombie, a real one. Bowling bulb, it's not cringe because it's funny and fun to play with. It's just the only problem with bowling bulb is as soon as it launches all three of them, if there's more zombies in the lane, it's not gonna keep launching the weakest attack. Quite adequate too. Guacodile, but it's a cheap jalapeno, or sort of a cheap jalapeno. It won't kill everything in the lane. You are quite adequate, my friend. Quite adequate. The banana launcher, it's a real one in most worlds. It is so much fun to play with. It's a lot of damage, or a lot of sun for a lot of damage. But if you pair it with the tile turnip, you get multiple good sun production. It'll just wipe the whole board. So I think you deserve a real one. It's like the second best plant in Big Wave Beach. Speaking of the best plant in Big Wave Beach, we're not talking about Chomper, but we will rank Chomper. Chomper is one of my favorite plants in the first game, although it sucked in the first game. Bias aside, it's probably going to be mid-cringe tier. Homing Thistle, though. Homing Thistle, you are, in my opinion, the best plant you unlock in Reflourished Big Wave Beach, because it is half the cost of banana. You get a lot of them down quicker than you can get banana, and it'll just wipe a lot of zombies off the map. Like, sure, it only targets one at once, but if you have 50 of them on a zombie, it'll instantly kill the zombie and move to the next. Homing Thistle, I will say you are a real one. Hot Potato, you are in the same boat as Lily Pad, above the Lily Pad. Pepper Pulse, quite adequate, I guess, because it warms plant, it does good damage. I just wish it recharged a lot faster. Quite adequate. Charred Guard, though. Charred Guard is pretty cool. I like Charred Guard. It knocks back zombies. It's very helpful in most worlds, so I'm gonna put you in pretty cool. Stunnion, now this might be weird, but I like Stunnion a lot. He's a real one. It'll freeze a zombie in place. You pair it with a potato mine or whatever, and you'll stall a zombie for a long time. You can really get your sun production up, so you gotta think of it more as a utility plant. Stunnion, you're always there for me. You're a real one. Rutabaga, I'd say, is pretty cool. It's in the same boat as Starfruit, just a little bit less so. But if you pair the two together, then they become an unstoppable force. Puts you pretty cool. Hurricane, you are also pretty cool. Because it's a blower, but it only blows one lane, which there's an argument to be made that it's better that way. I don't think so, but certainly I can respect people who do think so. But it also blows the zombies back. So Hurricane, you will be going in pretty cool. Fire Pea Shooter, you are basically a repeater, but you do have a pretty cool plant food effect where it acts as a jalapeno. Other than that, though, you are expensive. 250. Fire Pea Shooter. We're gonna go, we'll put him here. Red Stinger, also known as repeater three rows. You have to plant Red Stinger in the first 3 rows of your lane. You can also place it in the defensive state, but like, who does that? So Red Stinger, not the greatest, but you're certainly not the worst. Quite adequate tier. Same thing with AKEE. Pretty cool guy. Pretty cool fellow. Endurian, I don't think it does enough damage to justify 100 sun in the original version of Plants vs. Zombies 2. But in Reflourished, it's only 75 sun. Quite adequate. Stalia, though. Stalia, I have to say, you are a real one. Because it's 0 sun, it stalls. Because it's a stalling plant. I don't like Gold Leaf. I think it's lame. I think the idea was cool, but the execution was ass. Because here's the thing, it makes a gold tile that you can plant on top of another plant, and that plant will start producing sun so long as that plant stays planted on that tile. It sounds useful, right? Why does it suck? Because it's only available to use inside Lost City. It's the last plant you get in the Lost City. It comes in at the end of the world, so you don't have much world to use it in. So Gold Leaf, cool as you are, you have to suck cock. You can join the gay orgy down here. Lava Guava, another insta. I think it's cool, but I haven't used it enough to make me really feel like that it's a real one. You know, you're pretty cool. Daisy Chain, I've only used a select number of times. It's expensive. Every time it grows, it stalls, but it only stalls for so long. Kind of cringe. I'm sorry, Daisy Chain. Fat Beet, despite you being buffed, you're still cringe. This is not a good plant for this world because ideally you want to plant it in lanes that zombies aren't going to be in, and you want to push zombies outside of that lane. And this world does give you a plant to do it with garlic, but this world has so many zombies that will destroy your plants without eating your plants. So Fat Beet, you are big fat cringe. Celery Stalker. Celery Stalker is pretty good. Good in Jurassic Marsh. All in all, Celery Stalker is a pretty good plant. I'm gonna put you in a real one, my friend. You're a real one. You're not. You're actually pretty cool. Time Warp. Certified epic. The best change in Reflourished is you can use Time Warp in any world. It's twice the sun cost, sure. But that is totally fair for what it does. That's why Time Warp, look at his happy little face. He's there to make you have a happy little face. Because Time Warp is awesome. Garlic. I like garlic, but I can't think of a single level where you would need to divert zombies into another lane where there's not already a zombie that'll instantly destroy it or ignore it. You're kind of cringe. Spore Shroom. I like Spore Shroom. The idea is cool, though I will admit it is only really helpful in worlds where there's not a lot of zombies are clumped together. The whole gimmick is once it kills a zombie, it'll make another Spore Shroom, which is cool until it's all the zombies all the way in the back with 5 other zombies, and those 5 other zombies will instantly kill the Spore Shroom before it even lands a shot. You're quite adequate. I've never used intensive carrot. Intensive carrot, you're going into the gay orgy. Electric Blueberry. It'll instantly kill any zombie, including gargantuars, which is amazing. The only catch is it'll just randomly do so. So quite adequate. Gumnut though, I don't use it that much, but when I do use it, it is pretty helpful because it'll create a whole barrier based on the zombie's health. So if you do it against a big zombie, like one with thousands of health, it'll create a wall with thousands of health. Pretty cool. Primal Pea Shooter, also known as Pea Shooter Epic. I wish it wasn't as expensive as it is. It's $225, which is more expensive than a repeater. It looks cool. It just looks like it's about to say Ooka Booka and like beat you with a stick or something. You're gonna be in real ones. Perfume Shroom. Perfume Shroom is helpful because dinosaurs are the most irritating gimmick in Plants vs. Zombies 2 because they'll just push zombies forward way up your lawn or sometimes on the other side of the lawn. So being able to turn dinosaurs against them is pretty cool. Until you realize it costs 150 sun, it has a slow recharge, it'll only affect the dinosaurs in one lane. So what happens if 3 different dinosaurs spawn in 3 different lanes? Well, fuck you, you're dead. You can sit here in the gay orgy. Primal Walnut. Primal Walnut is my spirit animal. When I need a wall plant, I will always bring Primal Walnut. He is Caveman Walnut. He also looks like he's about to beat you with a stick. He takes hits from gargantuars. He plants fast. Yes, you're certified epic. Primal Sunflower. I wish it wasn't 100 sun. I wish it stayed 75 because that makes sense to me. I'll have to put Primal Sunflower in the real ones. Primal Potato Mine. I love Primal Potato Mine in Plant vs. Zombies 2. It is so helpful. It's the most broken plant for sure. But no, they had to do my man dirty and Reflourished. They gave him a 15-second arm time. Give it logger recharge. Any other case, you'd be certified epic, but to me, right now, you're only pretty cool. Hot Date. Hot Date is actually quite helpful. It's like a garlic, but instead of getting diverted away, it'll bring every zombie to that lane. It really shines in the Jurassic Marsh levels where so many zombies are clumped up in one lane with the dinosaur and the dinosaur is kicking them forward, and then you want to kill yourself because it's hard and it sucks and you're sad. But you could just get the zombies out of that lane. Whoever eats it, no matter how beefy, apart from a gargantuar of course, will instantly die. Or a pretty cool Hot Date. Parsnip, I haven't used that much. I know you're strong, he does a lot of damage, he's a better Guacodile, but he's a lot more expensive Guacodile. You're quite adequate. Hocus Crocus, I have used maybe once. It basically just chooses a random zombie closest to you and teleports it back to the start, which is cool if it's the only zombie that's closest to you. It's really just a reusable time warp, but it randomly chooses one zombie who are crazy. Moonflower. Moonflower here is too expensive, 75 sun, and it's weak as hell. It'll die like within an instant if eaten. Moonflower, you are quite adequate. Nightshade, I don't know why you're so expensive. You're 150 sun. You do 3 shots every few seconds. Kind of cringe. Shadow Shroom though, you're a real one. Real one. Basically what Shadow Shroom does is the zombie that eats it will get poisoned, right? And no matter what that zombie's wearing, armor, cone head, bucket head, night head, ice block, amber head, block head, you know, anything that's super beefy, you'll feed it a Shadow Shroom and it'll kill it so fast because it ignores armor. Dusklobber, I think, is significantly weaker in this one. I've tried to play with it. It's 100 more sun than it is in Plants vs. Zombies 2 vanilla. For what it is though, Dusklobber going in 3 lanes if you get a lot of it in. Pretty cool. Grimrose, it's a land, what's his name? Tangle Kelp. It'll be pretty cool. And actually I'll move Dusklobber to quite adequate. Nocturine, I think is what this is called. It's alright. It explodes and leads back behind some shadow juice. I don't ever use it outside of the final boss of modern day because that's when it gives it to you. So other than that, Nocturine, you're cool, but you're a little cringe. Mercademia Nut, I barely ever use this. Basically, however fast the zombie's eating, all the damage it's doing to the plant will revert back to the zombie eating it, which is helpful against like the fast eaters like the Jurassic Imp or the newspaper guy. I'd say Mercademia is quite adequate. Shadow Pea Shooter, I love Shadow Pea Shooter. When powered, it acts as a 150 stun laser beam, and when zombies get close to it, it'll just suck into the ground and grab it, drag it down to hell. I have used it outside of modern day, so I'm gonna put it in certified epic. Sap Fling is a perm staller. Place in the back and it'll stall a zombie the whole across. Pretty cool. Ghost Pepper, I do like Ghost Pepper. I wish it didn't have the 125 stun increase. Does a lot of damage to a lot of zombies. It cannot be taken by the Octo guy. Can't be taken by the fisherman. I don't think there's many things that can counter the Ghost Pepper. You're a real one, Ghost Pepper. You're a real one. Dandelion, I have to say, if you just get a whole like double row of them, you're just wiping out the whole screen. It does enough damage where it will destroy it. Really like the Dandelion. It's cool. It is a real one. Boingsetta. Boingsetta is kind of lame. The only good thing it does, it'll destroy most of the graves. Well, not destroy it. You need 2 of them to destroy all the graves on the screen. So much better in Plants vs. Zombies 2 Vanilla, but it's so below average in this version. Can't really put it higher than cringe. Cactus, I have used Cactus maybe once. It's fine. I don't get why it had a 50 stun increase. It does piercing damage for 3 zombies, and it also acts as a spike weed, just quite accurate. Looming Heart, I have used twice. I don't get it. I think it's just like the more it hits a single zombie, the more damage it does to that zombie. It's 150, so I mean, I guess it's okay. It's definitely not as lame as Boingsetta, but it's definitely not interesting. I'm gonna put you right next to Cactus. Jalapeno, you're certified. Sweet Potato, you are like Hot Date, but you are the female version of Hot Date, and you don't burn the zombies that eat you. Quite adequate. Strawburst, I think Strawburst is fun. He's cool, he's funny, he's crazy, he does a lot of damage. He is expensive though, he's got 400 stun on him. Better Coconut Cannon, pretty cool. Jack-o'-lantern. Jack-o'-lantern is expensive. Problem with Jack-o'-lantern, yeah, he does a lot of damage. He has the highest damage per second, apparently. He's short range. He runs out of his juice quickly. He is perfectly pretty cool. Okay, just make sure to not break too much of their stems. I'll take all in the left, you go for the right. Oh my god! Cauliflower is a hypno shroom that will randomly hypnotize anybody. Sometimes you'll hypnotize an imp, and other times you'll just hypnotize a garg. Quite adequate. Cattail, we're now in the Steam ages. Cattail is a weaker homing thistle for the same price. Cattail in the first game would attack any zombie on screen. Cattail in this one will attack any zombies close to it that are also furthest ahead. It was a fan favorite in Plants vs. Zombies, and it remains so in Plants vs. Zombies 2. It's just not as good as it was. Vanilla, I have not used that much. I know it's helpful against the gentleman zombies. They knock them out of the sky, but then they'll just go right back up again, and it's just a constant up, down, up, down, up, down with Vanilla until the gentleman zombie eventually gets past it and starts flying. Kinda cringe. Lily of the Alchemy is really helpful because it has like a 50% chance to lob these armor piercing buds, which is helpful against heavily armored zombies, bucket heads, cone heads, knights, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It for sure is pretty cool. Aloe, not good. The idea is cool. It'll heal the plant to its right. I like that you heal the plant, and it's really not great. Electric current. I love the idea of electric current, but the problem is it suffers the same thing that Fat Beat does, where you have to plant it in certain lanes and you have to keep zombies outside of that lane. Like, it basically creates a fence until a zombie decides to eat the actual current itself, to which it will die. It is glaring weaknesses that make it super cringe. Gold Bloom is the same Gold Bloom as it is for Zombies 2. The only problem is you can't get it at the start of the level anymore. You have to wait, which makes sense. I can understand that decision. Quite adequate. Impair, I don't like this thing. I think it's lame. I think it's dumb. Anything that eats it will turn into an ant. Sure, they're weak, but they're also super annoying. It's free, which is great, but I just can't really see me ever wanting to use this thing. Kind of cringe. Blastberry Vine, I think is what this is. It is a vine that catapults explosions. Quite adequate. Pomegranate, I think this is a cherry bomb that leaves mini cherry bombs around. For what it is, it's pretty cool. Boom Balloon Flower. I like this a lot because it is cheaper than Banana Launcher, charges faster than Banana Launcher, and its plant food is a Doom Shroom. A real one. Cold Snapdragon, you've fallen from grace. Cold Snapdragon is the best premium plant you can get in Plants vs. Zombies 2. This one, it is probably not great. It has the same weakness as normal Snapdragon, where it is significantly slower at attacking, and it's twice its price. Sure, it slows zombies, but it doesn't slow them enough to kill them in time before they start taking a few nibbles out of it. It'll have to be quite adequate. Dartichoke, I don't really like Dartichoke that much. I think the whole gimmick is targeting the stronger zombies, which I guess it works, but it is 300 sun for this thing, and it runs out quickly. Kind of cringe. I think this is Giraffadil. I could be wrong. Those flying zombies, which is great. I guess that's it. It doesn't do any damage, so it's kind of not great in that regard. Quite adequate. Electric Pea Shooter. I know this is a strong plant. In this game, it is almost like 1.5 times more expensive than it is. This is like 475 sun right here. Get an extra 275 sun to pay for something that's weaker and does less damage. Like even the last update for Reflourished, it did less damage. Quite adequate. Electricity, I think this is super lame. It's not even a great plant. Really kind of cringe. I never once use Escape Root. I don't know how to use Escape Root. It's just like, I will never ever bring Escape Root because that means my plant will be in danger. You can join in a gay orgy down there. Explodonut, I love Explodonut. It's way too expensive now. It is 3 times the regular walnut, but I guess that makes sense because it acts as a cherry bomb once it's eaten. Ready to explode. It's like, yes, yes, yes. And like he's about a nut or something because he's a nut. Explodonut, you are certified epic. Bloom Vine is something you can use instead of Moonflower for your shadow plants. I like it. So quite adequate. I like Goo Pea Shooter. Poison zombies. It is expensive though. It was super nice, especially for like the armored ones with the pyramid heads. So I'm gonna put you in real one. Grape Shot is a better cherry bomb. You can stay right and certified epic. Poly Barrier. It's a unique plant, very strategic plant. It is super expensive in this version. There's 150 and here is. It's 300. Put it in quite adequate. Ice Bloom. I like Ice Bloom. It is Ice Shroom, but instead of a shroom, it blooms. It'll freeze everything on the screen. Overall, it's just really helpful as a staller. So I'd say you deserve to be in real ones. Imitator. You'll be pretty cool. Inferno, I've used this a couple times. Like a fire tornado, which is cool, but like it's not good. The tornado doesn't work very well. I have to say Inferno's kind of cringe. Kiwi Beast, I have used this maybe twice. I don't understand this gimmick. I think the more it gets eaten, the stronger it does, the more damage it deals. The closer it is to death, the stronger it is. But the stronger it is, the closer it is to death, which means you won't have it as long, right? So, not great. So we'll put in quite adequate. Mistletoe, I think Mistletoe got not good treatment here. I mean, sure, it's significantly cheaper. It's 200, same as Ice Bloom. And you can choose which zombies you want to chill, but that's what you can do. It does no damage. It just chills them. It's severely overshadowed in Reflourished, so I'm sorry, Mistletoe. You can join this the sucks cock tier. Olive Pit, I guess it's cool. Like swallow a zombie whole and digest a zombie, which is kind of fucked. I don't think it can be destroyed other than like gargantuars and stuff, so it'll always be around. It's a pretty justified, quite adequate. Peanut, you want to suck penis. P-Vine, I'm not sure if it's better in the vanilla, but it's definitely not great in Reflourished. Power Lily is very good, gives you a plant food, every like minute or something. Power Lily is a pretty cool guy. Puffball, I haven't used this ever. I know that it explodes poison. Bottom are quite adequate here. Pumpkin, I really like Pumpkin. It's a real one. Shine Vine, I don't really use that much. If you want a lot of sun, you can use it, but the sun is already so easy to come across in this game, so it really can't go any higher than quite adequate. Shrinking Violet though, you are a real one. I really like Sling Pea in Reflourished. It is strong. 325 sun, sure, is expensive, but if you can get a good sun setup fast, get a bunch of these down, almost nothing getting through it. I think it deserves to be certified epic. Snap Pea is a slightly stronger chomper, but I think it takes twice as long to eat or something. Once it does eat a zombie, it'll fire the zombie head out. Probably killing another zombie is certainly not amazing. Soul Sage, I think that's what it's called, has to suck cock. Solar Tomato, it makes zombies drop sun. It's just another sun guy. Solar Tomato, you can go a little higher than Solar Sage. You are kind of cringe. I don't know what this is. I forgot what this is. Toadstool, I do like Toadstool. It's a chomper that makes sun. For that though, it has a higher range than Chomper does. It's higher than Chomper and quite adequate. Torchwood, I love Torchwood. I always have. So I'd say Torchwood itself, if it were just Torchwood by burning like peas, then it would be lower, but because it acts as a wall and once it dies it acts as an insta-kill, Torchwood deserves a spot and they're pretty cool. Turkey Pulp will be kind of cringe. Wasabi Wit, a lot of damage. It's a better bonk choice, a fire bonk choice. Because of that, Wasabi Wit, I'm gonna put you in pretty cool. So this is the Reflourished tier list, at least for the plants. And yeah, now we'll also be ranking the worlds for this video. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.